All right, let's just get right into it. If you're a parent, you have absolutely been here. You see the screaming, the crying, the full-on meltdown, and you think it's about the banana. But I'm going to tell you something that might change everything. It's not. What looks like a massive, illogical overreaction is actually a young brain doing exactly what it was designed to do. So let's make those tantrums feel a little less like chaos and a lot more like something we can actually understand.
I mean, really think about it. Have you ever stood there just completely baffled, watching your toddler absolutely lose it because a banana broke in half? Or maybe, because they got the green cup instead of the blue one. It feels totally irrational, right? Almost crazy.
And here's the single most important thing to get your head around. It was never, ever about the banana. And once you truly understand why it isn't, it changes everything about how you see and handle these moments. So welcome to what I like to call the banana apocalypse. And really, it all comes down to this giant gap between what we, the adults, see on the outside and what is actually physically happening inside our toddler's brain.
It's like we're watching two different movies, isn't it? On our screen, we see a tiny, fixable problem and a reaction that is just way out of proportion. But on their screen, a picture they had in their mind, a perfect, whole banana just shattered. Reality shifted without their permission, and their little nervous system just slammed the panic button. It's not an overreaction, it's a system overload. So to really get a handle on this overload thing, we got to take a quick tour of the toddler brain. And honestly, the best way to think about it is with this simple idea. Engine, meet brakes. This one metaphor explains almost everything.
So, picture the brain having two main systems, right? First, you've got the emotional engine. This is where all those huge feelings come from. Fear, rage, joy, all the survival instincts. In a toddler, this engine is powerful. It's fully formed, ready to go. But then you have the thinking brakes. This is the part for logic, for self-control, for calming down. And here's the catch. That part as well, it's still under construction. The wiring isn't finished yet.
So what you have really is a high-performance sports car with flimsy bicycle brakes. That is a toddler. The emotional engine roars to life at the tiniest surprise, yep, the broken banana, and those little bicycle brakes just don't have the power to slow that thing down. And this quote just nails it. From our perspective, they are freaking out over nothing. But from their perspective, they are experiencing a genuine and probably pretty scary loss of control as that emotional engine just floods their whole system. Shifting to their perspective, that changes the entire game.
Okay, so let's put this into practice. Let's see how this all plays out in a real-life scenario. We're going to look at a story about a little guy named Leo and see how his dad's understanding of this brain science creates two totally different endings to the same story.
Okay, look at this. In version 1, Dad sees the meltdown as a discipline problem. He thinks Leo is being defiant, so his actions? He argues, he threatens, and surprise, surprise, the whole thing escalates. Everybody loses. But now, look at version 2. Dad's mindset shifts. He thinks, wait, this isn't a discipline problem, this is a nervous system problem. So he doesn't reason with him, he just gets down on his level, stays calm, and validates the feeling. Oh man, it broke. You're so sad about that. The storm still happens, but it passes so much faster. And instead of a battle, you get a moment of connection. And what Dad did there in version 2, it actually has a name. It's called co-regulation. And this is such a critical concept. It's the process where your child's out-of-control emotional brain literally borrows your calm to settle itself down. You become their external braking system. And this isn't a crutch. It's the essential bridge they have to cross to learn how to one day regulate themselves.
Okay, so this brings us to the big takeaway here. Let's totally redefine the tantrum. We need to strip away all those old, unhelpful labels and look at what's really going on under the hood.
First off, let's just get this out of the way. A tantrum is not proof that your kid is spoiled. It is not a sign that you are a bad parent, and, this is a big one, in that moment of neurological chaos, it is not a calculated plot to manipulate you. That's just our own fears talking, not the reality of a developing brain.
So what is a tantrum then? It's a young brain that's been ambushed by a reality it did not see coming. It's a nervous system that has flipped into full-on alarm mode. And it's a little body trying to release a tidal wave of emotion that it physically cannot contain on its own.
And here's why it feels so impossible to get through to them. When a toddler is in that state, their logic and self-control centers are, for all intents and purposes, offline. They've been completely flooded out by that emotional sports car engine. This is why trying to reason with them, saying things like, "But honey, it's the same amount of banana," is like trying to explain calculus during an earthquake. The hardware just isn't available for that conversation.
And so that really leaves us with this final question. What changes for us, for our stress levels, for our relationship with our kids when we finally stop seeing a tantrum as a fight that has to be won and start seeing it as a neurological storm that just needs to be weathered together? Honestly, everything changes.
Okay, picture this. You ask your toddler if they want a banana. Of course they do. You peel it, you hand it over, and it breaks right in half. And just like that, the world ends. I mean, we've all been there, right? That moment of just total baffling meltdown over something that seems so small. So let's actually dive into this. Let's figure out what's really going on and how we can be that calm anchor in our child's storm. So yeah, what is happening when that banana breaks? I mean, for us, it's nothing, right? It's a tiny inconvenience. But you gotta remember, for a small child, their whole world is still being built, still being mapped out. This isn't just a broken piece of fruit to them. It's like a glitch in the matrix. It's this completely unexpected, jarring event that their little system just can't process yet. Yeah, for them, it's a full-blown neurological storm. I love that description. Their emotions are just completely overwhelming their ability to think logically. And this is so important. They aren't choosing to be difficult. They're literally flooded with feelings they have zero tools to manage. And in the middle of that storm, what are they looking for? They're looking for a lighthouse. So, how do you become that lighthouse? Because, our first instinct is often to fight the storm, right? But that just adds more chaos. There is a much better way, a clear, actionable method. So let's get into it. Let's look at how to be the calm in their storm with a really simple 3-step response. And that's it, just 3 steps. I love this. It's not some, complicated psychological manual you have to memorize. It's just a simple, memorable framework you can actually use the very next time a banana incident happens in your house. Okay, so here are the steps. Number 1, protect, don't debate. Super important. If a kid is hitting or throwing, your first job, your only job really, is to make the space safe. No lectures. Second, lower the volume. This is all about de-escalation. And third, name it after. This is where the teaching happens, and this is key, only after the storm has passed. Now, we're really going to focus in on how to master that second step. So let's start with lowering the volume. All right, let's really dive into step 2, lowering the volume. This is where your calm becomes your superpower. Look, you can't just turn the emotion off like a switch, but you absolutely can dial down the intensity. So what does that look like? Well, first, get down to their level instead of towering over them. Use a low, steady voice. And this is a big one. Say less, not more. Simple things like, wow, you're really upset, I'm right here, are so powerful. Even just a calm hand on their back, if they'll let you, can work wonders. And here's the really cool part, the science behind why this works. Your calm isn't just nice. It's not a pleasant little extra. Their nervous system is literally using you as data. It's actively scanning you for information. Your calm face, your steady voice, it's all sending a clear signal that says, hey, you're just upset, you are not in danger. And that signal gives our little brain permission to slowly turn down the alarm. It's amazing. Okay, so I know what you might be thinking. A question always comes up right about now. Isn't this all a little too soft? Does being this empathetic mean we just let them do whatever they want? It is a great question. So let's tackle how to set calm but very firm boundaries, because this is absolutely not about permissive parenting. Exactly. This is the big one, right? So I'm just supposed to let them scream and throw things, let them hit me or destroy the house? And the answer is no, absolutely not. Of course not. You still hold the boundaries. The big difference is how you hold them. And this slide just illustrates the shift perfectly. The old way so often feels like a battle, doesn't it? It's you versus your child. But this new way, it reframes the entire thing. It's no longer a fight. It becomes you and your child together against this massive storm of feelings. You become their ally, not their opponent. That changes everything. So what does this actually sound like in the heat of the moment? Well, it's calm, it's super clear, and it's all about your action, not their feeling. Something like, I won't let you hit me. I'm going to move back. See that? You're not shaming them for being angry. You're just calmly protecting everyone's safety with a simple boundary. Here's another perfect example. You can be angry. You cannot throw that. I'm going to move it away. Did you catch the formula there? You validate the feeling. You can be angry. You state the limit clearly. You cannot throw that, and then you state the action you will take. I'll move it away. You're firm on the limit, but you're soft on the little human who's having a hard time. Responding like this, it's not just about getting through today's tantrum. It's so much bigger than that. It's about the long game. There is something really profound that you're building in your child's brain with every single one of these calm responses, even when it feels like it's not working in the moment. Every single time you stay calm, you're teaching their brain this incredible pattern. The message they're getting deep down is big feelings are survivable. I can totally fall apart and my parent doesn't disappear. They don't get scared. You are literally wiring their brain for resilience. And this is the part that gives me chills, honestly. It's how this all connects over time. The way you help them through that silly broken banana today, you're literally laying the foundation for how they're going to handle a failed exam as a teenager, or how they'll handle really bad news as an adult. They are learning to do for themselves what you are doing for them right now. So all of this, it really boils down to one final, really powerful shift in perspective. It's a single thought that can completely change how you experience these really tough moments. So the next time a tantrum starts to brew, I want you to try repeating this one sentence in your head. This is not a tiny dictator testing my patience. This is a small nervous system overwhelmed. Just that thought, look, it's not going to make the screaming stop. But what it does is it creates just enough mental space, just a little pocket of air for you to choose how you respond. Because in the end, that's what this is all about. Your ability to stay calm, it's not a luxury. It is not just a nice-to-have parenting skill. It is a fundamental part of their actual brain development. Your calm is the anchor. It's what teaches them, deep in their bones, that all storms, no matter how intense they feel, eventually pass.